Xbox, a brand that up until about 6 or 7 years ago was considered to be the pinnacle of console gaming, a brand that was fueled by a multitude of high-quality games, both first-party and third, some of which were accompanied by highly valued marketing deals. And back then it would seem that with the upcoming 8th gaming generation, that the Xbox was poised to take top position yet again. Needless to say, that didn't happen. Fast forward to today, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, and even Facebook, just one look on social media, and you'll find that Microsoft and their Xbox brand would seem to be nothing more than a joke to many gamers around the world. But to understand why the brand is in the position that it's in, we must go back to the beginning. November 15th, 2001. This would be the day the so-called new kid on the block would enter the gaming market. Along with this new gaming box came games from all over the world, including fan favorites like Elder Scrolls Morrowind. This game marked the first time a large-scale PC-style RPG would hit the console market. And it didn't stop there. Microsoft would go on to pick up a ton of games for their console that would appeal to a wider audience. We're talking games like Splinter Cell, Knights of the Old Republic, Fable, Ninja Gaiden, and even the Forza series. But what truly became the massive hit for the brand, appealing to many gamers everywhere, was a little game called Halo. Halo Combat Evolved gave Xbox its first true identity for the console, and it lent a heavy hand in the success of their online gaming service, Xbox Live. And while it may not have been the first console to bring online gaming home, it was definitely the first console to make it mainstream. The OG Xbox would go on to solidify its place in history as the console that would set off online gaming with massive success. Now, we can say that the OG Xbox put the brand on the map, but it would be the Xbox 360, its successor, that would put them on the right path to incredible success.
Yes, the moment we've been waiting for is here. Adam is down at Best Buy in the Mojave Desert to witness the sale of the first Xbox 360.
Released on November 22nd, 2005, the 360, as it was commonly referred to among gamers, would be very appealing for many different reasons, but mainly because of its wide-ranging lineup of games and its online component that had millions of players everywhere connected to each other. The Xbox 360 would go on to release massively successful games, including setting off another huge franchise alongside of the Halo universe it had already created. The franchise I'm talking about is, of course, Gears of War. It would be games like this, along with heavily marketed third-party titles and the massive success of their online service, which quite frankly was unmatched at the time. It was all of this that would help catapult the brand into huge mainstream success, making the Xbox 360 one of the most beloved consoles ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing
TV. TV. Watch TV. TV and TV remote. TV experience. TV. Sports TV.
With the announcement of Microsoft's next console for the start of the 8th generation, the Xbox team led by Don Mattrick would seem to quickly lose its footing right out the gate. It seemed to push more TV and cable tuner features than actual games. But what would eventually turn most gamers off is the fact that they announced the inclusion of DRM, a system that would essentially force you to always be connected to the internet as you play your games, as Microsoft would require a 24-hour check-in time with each of their games, regardless if you had the disc or not. We all know the backlash they received and how Microsoft did a total 180 on this idea. But at this point, the damage was already done. All of this had a huge impact on pre-orders and sales, giving way to a fantastic start for their main competitor, the Sony PlayStation 4, which, by the way, quickly capitalized on Xbox's blunders and gained huge respect in the eyes of the gaming community.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
Sony would essentially become the media darling, the fan favorite, the superhero of gamers everywhere, right at the start of this very generation. While Sony did catapult themselves in front of this generation because of Xbox's blunders, Xbox wouldn't stop there. Throughout this current generation, Xbox has fallen far behind its competition due to its lack of high-quality AAA first-party games, something that many of us in the community have been very vocal about for years. Now, as a multi-console owner myself, I play the games wherever they're at, but I understand there's circumstances for everybody, and I know that some gamers like to play on just one console. And for those gamers, I understand why many of you have jumped ship essentially over to PlayStation. I myself love what the PlayStation has to offer in terms of games, so I get it. But what I don't get is the constant hate, especially when a company seems to be listening and turning things around. Over the years, I've seen certain key players moving in different positions or leaving completely, including Phil Spencer's rise within the company. Say what you will about him, any of the other key players, or Xbox in general, but I myself see progress. I see a new attitude. I see them spending heavily into the future of first-party games. I mean, they've been pretty transparent on this, and they've been talking about it quite a bit. I don't know, maybe it's the old school gamer in me that likes that healthy dose of console competition, but I can't help having this overall sense of change for the better coming. I just don't see the continued hatred for the brand. Why now? Sure, as gamers, we should always push these companies to provide better experiences with their games, but we can clearly see Microsoft on the right path of doing just that. With the recent studio acquisitions, including the production of The Initiative, a major studio they put together with some really talented developers, and the promise of some bigger and better games coming, I just fail to see the problem outside of, well, having to wait for these games. Unfortunately, folks, big games take some real time to make. And while it's not a new franchise or anything or a new IP, but Gears 5 was just released to mass appeal. It got rave reviews by journalists and gamers alike. It's probably the biggest Xbox game to hit this generation. Why hate now? You ask for good games. They bring us a good game, a really good game. Yes, I want a new IP too. I've been screaming for a new IP for years now from Microsoft. I want to see that healthy competition, but it takes time. They're making those. So again, why now? I mean, if Gears 5 is any indication on the future of Xbox Studio gaming, I'd say they're on the right path. Not to mention that with pro-consumer services like Game Pass and its inclusion of big third-party games and every first-party major exclusive hitting the service day and date, on both console and PC I might add, I'd say that Xbox is definitely trying to grab the attention of all of us gamers. And in my opinion, they've put themselves into a much better position at the start of this upcoming console generation. I mean, it's right around the corner, folks. In a year's time, we'll all know more. But I'm more inclined to believe, based on the evidence that Xbox has given us so far these past couple of years, and based on their obvious commitment to gaming, that the Xbox brand will provide the competition we as gamers desire. I understand, time will tell, but for me, the plan is sound. It's all about that execution now. And in this particular situation, I believe that patience is virtue, and all the screaming, whining, and ragging on the brand won't move along the process of getting these games created any faster. Now, I'm not telling anybody out there to stay with the brand if that's not what you want to do, nor am I telling you not to be upset with what they've given us in the past, as I do believe that as consumers, we should always voice our concerns when a company does something wrong, or they're just not living up to our personal expectations. As consumers, that is our right. But I also believe that we should in turn praise these companies when they get something right. And right now, folks, I personally believe, by all the evidence that I see, that Microsoft is pointing the Xbox in the right direction. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to view this video. And if you like the video, please consider hitting that like button. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell, as it will let you know when my latest video drops. Until next time, folks, try to be the best possible you, be kind to one another, and of course, as always, game on.